President Biden and Vice President Harris are now making their way to North Carolina to campaign in the highly competitive swing state. There is CBS News campaign reporter Aaron Navarro in North Carolina, in Raleigh specifically, awaiting the arrival of the vice president and the president. So we heard from Biden, of course, one of the things that I think about, when you think bridges and is the infrastructure bill and law that he so much has championed and promoted. Of course, we also saw the cargo ship hitting the bridge. So it's not like one can assume that this is a failure of the infrastructure bill. But how do you think these play along together in terms of what voters will decide, and how important is the response that the president or the administration give to this event when it comes to their votes?
Hi, Lolia. Good to be with you. Yeah, I mean, the funding here, the federal funding from the infrastructure bill, last we checked, as of March 18, nothing was specifically for this bridge. There was funding for a nearby Frederick Douglass tunnel in terms of rail improvements there, but there wasn't any federal or state money allocated to this bridge in particular. It had gotten satisfactory marks in past inspections in recent years. But you're right, infrastructure is a big thing that President Biden talks about. The governor here in North Carolina, Roy Cooper, talks about it a good amount, and it's going to be something to watch his response, as well as one of his major surrogates on the trail, Maryland Governor Wes Moore, who's in the middle of a session, who of course is prioritizing the search and rescue part in response to this catastrophe. But how fast he can rebuild that bridge will also be indicative of his record and how voters generally in this area, Maryland, the Democratic state, but how they're feeling about the effectiveness of their politicians.
You are there in a very competitive race in a very competitive state. Let's talk about what you think will be the pitch from Harris and Biden today to North Carolinians.
Well, they're expected to talk about the agenda's impact here in North Carolina, any jobs added specific to the state. But health care is really the main focus. You're going to hear President Biden look to make any contrasts when it comes to Medicaid expansion, something that was passed here in the state recently, when it comes to pre-existing condition protections and some of the rhetoric we've heard from some Republicans in Congress. But we're also expected to hear Vice President Harris on the day that the Supreme Court is beginning to hear arguments about abortion pill access. She's going to be talking about women's reproductive rights, another key issue for Democrats, not just in North Carolina, but across the country and especially in every battleground state. Of
course. And in the North Carolina Democratic primary, more than 12% of voters supported a no preference option. That is significant. Is that a group that the president is looking to bring back to his camp?
Well, when you look at what's pushed some of that uninstructed or non-preference or uncommitted, semantics differ from state to state, it's mainly being pushed by younger, progressive minority voters. These are key coalitions, key parts of the voting bloc that President Biden will need. So he's looking to appeal to this group. His campaign touts some of the advertising they've been doing, some of the recent focus in terms of college visits, making sure that they turn out younger voters. But it's going to be key, especially in a state that Trump won by just over 1% in 2020, that the Biden campaign believes that they can flip this November. Every vote for them will count.
Aaron Navarro, thank you so much for all that. See you soon.